Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Bills by 9.5 here in Miami. What's the weather?
What's the weather?
It's November. There's no
Miami in
advantage
November. How bad could it be?
It can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Can we get a weather report for Miami on Sunday, please?
So on the one hand, you've got Miami quit for the first time, I think, the last time they played. On the other hand, or the last time Miami played. The last time Miami played Buffalo, though, we kind of expected them to quit, and they didn't. They actually played hard and kept it reasonably tight.
They played hard. They still ended up losing by 10.
Right. But that was covering, right? Like, wasn't that a monster number?
Yeah. It was 10.5. It was in that range. That was one of the overs we took on James Cook. He got his rushing yard over in the second quarter.
Yes.
I wonder about the emotional aspect of things for Buffalo. They're coming off of just a pristine effort against Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
It was their best all-around game of the year, both sides of the ball. Josh Allen's 23 for 26. James Cook's running the ball well. Everything's good on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they forced Mahomes into the lowest completion percentage of his career. They have this really high pressure rate on Mahomes. And again, I think that was more coverage, taking away throws more so than just dominating up front. But it was unreal team defense from Buffalo. And they hold Kansas City to just 21 points after they had been looking pretty explosive. Really good all-around effort. Was that their midseason Super Bowl? Is there just an emotional letdown now going to Miami?
Yeah, I mean, is it at a similar kind of test for them that the Patriots had after beating Buffalo? Like, that was your emotional high. That was your Super Bowl, mid-season. You then have to avoid the trap game following that. And, I mean, I think Miami's a bit more dangerous than the New Orleans Saints were, but same idea. Like, you are heavy favorites for this game. Miami's season is kind of done. They've already fired their general manager. You are almost double-digit point favorites despite being on the road. You need to go up and take care of business and show that you're just way better than Miami is.
And I know we're talking about that from a narrative perspective, but it's also showing up in the injury report for Buffalo.
Yeah.
So Joey Bosa is questionable with a wrist. And I am not joking. You beat the Chiefs. Bosa looked great.
Shut him down.
I am legitimately saying you save him until the divisional round.
Well, particularly with Michael Hoyt popping his Achilles last week, with Ed Oliver on the shelf with a biceps, who might not make it back. I mean, it's one of those ones where, all being well, he'll be back for maybe the first or second round of the playoffs. But, that's just theory. He might not be back, and even if he is back, he might not look anything like Ed Oliver. So, for all intents and purposes, two of your defensive linemen are done. Joey Bosa is a really important guy remaining. And even theoretically, when everyone was healthy, you wanted Joey Bosa for January. Now you might need him.
And we're sitting here racking our brain, like, what can the Bills do differently in the regular season versus the playoffs, where it's really stay healthy, right? 2 years ago, they were down six starters, and they could not stop the Chiefs. And last year, they lose Christian Benford early. They were already down other starters.
But the Benford one is a great example.
Early.
Like, what if you lose a guy who is so important that it completely junks the game plan in the most important game of the season, and you have to do something different? I mean, Joey Bosa might not be quite that, but if you go from we're already beat up and don't have the defensive line we want to deploy, and Joey Bosa is here, but so he'll be okay, right? Or also Joey Bosa's done. Well, you don't have any pass rush anymore at that point. You might, I don't know, this would be, I've commended Buffalo a lot for the last couple of years for not panicking and doing anything crazy off the back of their sort of unfortunately consistent gut punches to end each season, right? You look really dominant in the regular season. You're a Super Bowl favorite. You get to the postseason, and you find a way of losing those games, and you fall short. A lot of teams, a lot of franchises, I think, already would have done something dramatic, like firing general managers, firing coaches, radically overhauled something massive on the roster. Something huge has got to change. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for having the discipline to say, I don't think we need to do that. I think generally we are still knocking on the door, and the right thing to do is to sort of keep running it back and, try and just get lucky effectively on one of these games. But if you are looking for something radical to change, that might be it. Like, when has a team ever done that with a player, to just say, you know what, this guy is too important to risk in the next. And this is, we were sort of speculating preseason that you could do this, assuming that they were kind of going to run away with the division again and have everything locked up and blah, blah, blah.
They're not going to do that this year. But
now they're in a dogfight. Like, they're a game behind the Patriots. They're not sure of anything at the moment. They're going to have to win. They might need to win games just to be a wild card team, win the division and lock up the number one seed and all those kinds of things. Even with that, there's still tons to fight for this season, it might be in your best interest to just say Joey Bosa in January is more important than anything Joey Bosa can do in the next 8 weeks. Just put him away.
And it's just him because of his injury history. Obviously, you can't do this. You can't be like, Greg Rousseau, you're doing it too. Like, you can't do that with everybody. Just like Bosa in particular. And I'm not saying he's worth like a touchdown against the Chiefs or anything. It's just the whole thing added together.
It might be worth a play.
At
the moment it's the difference between winning and losing those games.
And I'm saying in football, like in other sports, there are levers you can pull in the playoffs where you play the game differently to find an advantage. And there's really not those things in football, right? You can't just, we've got this secret game plan that we're going to use. We're going to throw the ball 100% of the time. Or we have the secret defensive scheme that we're going to use that we're just saving for the playoffs. Like in basketball, you change your rotations. In baseball, you use starters as really whatever. Everybody, you tighten up the game to only focus on your best players as much as you can. And there's not really a football equivalent to that, but manipulating health somehow might be. And it's a unique situation for the Bills because they have this one team that they're always trying to beat.
Yeah.
And look, the Chiefs might not even make the playoffs this year. Like that's like in the range of outcomes right now. Who knows? At 5-4, I think they'll still make it, but they might not even play the Chiefs. It would look ridiculous, but the goal is a Super Bowl, right?
It's the only
and so
team...
you're thinking, like, how do we get to extreme measures to win a Super Bowl? And that would be one of them.
It's the only sport where you don't really factor in, the load management stuff at all, right? Like, guys are either healthy or they're not. If they're healthy, they're out on the field, they're giving it a go, right? Every other sport, basketball, you got the load management. We joked about what a farce baseball is with their load management. Guys can only pitch one game of a World Series or whatever. Soccer, they're busy resting people because they got an important midweek game in the Champions League. Like, this happens everywhere. It doesn't happen in football, and yet a guy like Joey Bosa, specifically him, number one, he's healthy for the first, wrist injury now, but up until now, he's been healthy this season for the first time in years. Like, this is a dude that's been banged up for a long time in his NFL career, and that took him from being, one of those all-pro caliber defensive linemen to a guy who really was anonymous for the Chargers late in his career there because he'd just been so taken apart by injuries. For the first time in a long time, he looked like himself and has been making a ton of plays for this Bills defensive line. So given that, A, you really need him, and B, if he gets hurt again and starts getting banged up and is now playing banged up, like if he goes back to being the Chargers guy for the last couple of years, that's a problem. Whether or not he's out there or not, if he's just not the same effectiveness.
Right.
So I think you can absolutely make the case that it would be radical. You would take a ton of criticism for it. But if you unboxed Joey Bosa for the divisional round of the playoffs, and he goes out there and has, 2 sacks and has a dominant third down rush that kills the game or whatever, who cares?
It's worth it. It's all worth it to do it. I'm just saying. So it's not just – so coming out of that game, James Cook got hurt during that game. He's questionable, ankle/foot, didn't practice yesterday. Josh Palmer, questionable. Bosa, who we mentioned. Teron Johnson, questionable. He didn't practice yet. Christian Benford, groin, limited. Questionable. Terrell Bernard, A.J. Epinesa, Daquan Jones. They're beat up now coming off of the Chiefs game. Some of those guys were already beat up. But, it's a big win last week. Will there be an emotional letdown? But it looks like there's even just a physical letdown. That'd be the one thing that gives maybe Miami a chance here to keep it close.
Yeah.
Let's just play in Miami.
Right. They're banged up now, Buffalo. But they're still way better than the Dolphins. The Dolphins, the thing is going to be, once they quit, can you unquit? Like, once they tapped out in the second half of that game, is that them just done for the year? Like, have they abandoned the season now? Or can you can you recover from that? Can you untap out after you do it in the middle of a game?
I remember in the last game, Miami, this was the game where Miami had all of the high leverage conversions, right?
Yeah.
Like they were awful on first and second down?
Their third down number in this game the first time around was crazy.
All third down conversions. That's really tough to bottle up. And I think historically, if you do want a schematic element added to this, Buffalo's done a really nice job. Even when Miami's offense was cooking and at their best, Buffalo was always the matchup that made it difficult, took away those middle of the field throws and just had a feel for it. I'm not saying Miami never had success against the Bills, but the Bills were like just the defense that felt equipped to slow them down, or one of them. Anyway, 9.5. Bills are favored.
I'm going to go with the Bills to win and cover.
It's my lock of the week, Sam, so watch out.
Oh, God.
I'll also take the Bills. Lock of the week's doing great this year.
It's 2-5.
As will Harry. It's not really a lock then.
No, it's not.
Is it now?
Very unlocked.
It's just a pick. If it's not a lock, it's just a pick of the week.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.